are two types of queues, ready queue and the other one is job queue, right? In the job queue, the tasks that are created are stored in job queue or job pool. Okay, there is one job pool or job queue. It will maintain the tasks that are created. Then ready queue represents the processes that are ready to execute within the CPU. And there is one more queue, IO queue. The IO queue represents the processes that are waiting for IO devices. In IO queue, there are some processes. These processes are waiting for some IO devices. When process scheduling, it will maintain three types of queue: job queue, ready queue, and IO queue. Copy the diagram. Don't make noise. Listen. The processes that are ready to execute within the CPU is placed in the ready queue first. Then, in the ready queue, any one process can be selected and it is allocated within the CPU for execution based on the scheduling algorithm. The scheduler will select any one process from the ready queue and it is executed within the CPU. If the process is completed, then it is terminated. Suppose the process is not completed, it means again IO operation means that process will request the particular IO devices. So in this case, IO requires the device. Then the processes, all the processes that needs IO devices will be stored in the IO queue. IO queue. Then they will be allocated some IO devices. After allocating IO devices, the process can be moved to the ready queue. Again for further processing within the CPU. Present. Initially, all the processes that are ready to execute will be placed in the ready queue. From the ready queue, any one process can be selected and it is allocated within the CPU for execution. Suppose if the process needs any IO operation needs to be performed by the particular process, it needs IO device. So, if there is any IO resources available in the particular process, initially it is stored in the placed in the IO queue because many other processes are waiting for particular IO devices. Okay, so all the processes that are waiting for any particular IO devices initially placed in the IO queue. From the IO queue, again the process, any one process can be selected by the scheduler and the particular process will be allocated with a particular IO device. When the IO operation is completed, after completing the IO operation, again the process goes to the ready queue. So why the process needs to go to the ready queue again? After completing the IO operation, why the process needs to be placed in the ready queue again? To execute other instructions that are executed within the CPU. After completing the IO operation, the user program contains some other instructions to be executed within the CPU. CPU will execute the remaining instruction. So that instruction, to execute that instruction, again the process is placed in the ready queue. Then it is allocated within the CPU. If it is completed, then it goes to the terminated state. Understand? This is for IO operation. Then suppose if the time slice expire. It is represent normal termination. This represents IO records. If the process needs IO records, this path is followed. Suppose if the process expired the time slice, that is, when we use the round robin scheduling algorithm, each and every process is allocated some time duration. That is, process P1 will execute within the CPU for 50 milliseconds. Then, like that, process P2 also takes 50 milliseconds. Process P3 also takes 50 milliseconds. After executing process P1 by 50 milliseconds, P1 is removed from the CPU and P2 is allocated within the CPU. Understand? In the round robin scheduling algorithm, it will follow some time slice. Each and every process will be executed in a particular time interval. So that time interval is initially fixed. If the time interval is 50 milliseconds, each and every process will execute within the CPU in a particular time interval. After reaches this time interval, the process P1 is again removed from the CPU and it will be placed in the ready queue. Then process P2 will be executed. P2 is also executing only 50 milliseconds. Then P2 will be removed from the CPU and again it is placed in the ready queue. After that, P3 is executing within the CPU for another 50 milliseconds. Again it is removed from the CPU and it is placed in the ready queue. To remove first level P1. In the round robin scheduling algorithm, it will maintain some fixed time interval for each and every process that are going to execute within the CPU. Suppose we are considering only three processes, P1, P2, P3 means each and every process will be executed within the CPU in a particular time interval. We are fixing the time interval as 50 milliseconds means in the first 50 millisecond process P1 is executing within the CPU. So after 50 milliseconds, what happens? P2 is removed from the CPU and it goes back to the and it is stored in the ready queue and P2 is getting the CPU now. Okay, P2 again executing within the CPU for another 50 milliseconds and P2 is also stored in the ready queue, then P3 occupies the CPU. So P3 also executing another 50 milliseconds. After that, P3 is also moving to the ready queue. Then process P1. P1 takes next 50 milliseconds. So like that, the browser will get the process when using round robin scheduling algorithm. Here, if the time slice expired means the process will be removed from the CPU and it is stored in the ready queue. Okay. Then another one option is if one process calls, another one process. Yellow condition is if one process calls, another one process. Fourth is a system call used to create another one process. A fourth is a system call which to create a process. From one process we can able to create n number of sub processes or child processes. If one process creates another one process, that is both the child means in this case the child process executes. After completing the child process, then again the process will be moved to the ready queue. Then it completes the remaining execution within the queue. Then another one condition is if there is any interrupt occurs in that case also the process can be removed from the queue. If any interrupt occurs, wait for if there is any interrupt occurs, at that time also the process will be removed from the CPU and it will process the interrupt service domain. After that, the process will be stored in the ready queue. Wait for an interrupt occurs. Wait for an interrupt occurs.